The risk that farmers take every year is something that most of us can't comprehend, but farm families live with it every day. One of the goals of the Farm Bill is to mitigate some of that risk. Shel Winkley has more in this week's From the Ground Up.
When I drive into work at the Capitol, to earn the salary that I'm paid for by the taxpayer, I don't really have to put anything at risk to do that, other than the risk of driving in traffic in D.C. For a farmer, even just a mid-sized family farming operation, they may end up putting $1 million at risk to make a crop that nets them less than $100,000 at the end of the year.
Bart Fisher is the Deputy Staff Director and Chief Economist for the Committee on Agriculture in the U.S. House of Representatives.
You've got to convince your bank to lend you $1 million to go do this. Well, if there's not some sort of assurance that it could be repaid if things fall apart, it's tough for the bank to go out and lend that money. And so the system kind of all works in consult to make sure that the producers can actually stay out there doing what they're doing. But it's all predicated on the notion that it's incredibly risky business. That's really unlike any other business in the world.
Fisher says that U.S. farmers also must compete globally, where there's not a level playing field.
We actually filed a case against China and the WTO over the subsidies they were providing to their producers. And on just 3 crops in 1 year alone, they went over their legal limits by $100 billion. And we don't go over our limits. We actually say in law that if we're in danger of going over them, we have to reduce our spending. Between the risks that they face and the fact that it's an unfair playing field, the Farm Bill does try to come in and help level that playing field to some degree.
Fisher also points out that a farmer can lose his entire income for a year in one night.
The goal isn't to use the safety net to make money, and frankly it's not even to make them whole. It's just to help enough that they can stay in business and put in another crop the following year. Because when they go out, increasingly there's not folks waiting in the wings to take over if that producer goes out of business.
I'm Shel Winkley, looking at Central Texas agriculture from the ground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.